What's up, fellow YouTubers? This is MC Reg. Welcome to the first video in my CD collection. These are CDs that I'm going to do a review for in the future, and just check it out. See my taste in music. First album is James The Genie album, Themes and Variations from the TV show Taxi, released in 1983. Pretty cool album. Like, the reason why I got this album is because I'm a Bob James fan, and plus I love the show Taxi. Like, you know that show Taxi with Dan DeVito, Christopher Lloyd, Jude Hirsch. You know what I'm talking about. Like, two of my favorite songs are on this album. Like this song here, The Genie, and New York Mellow. Like, it just has a chill kind of vibe to it. Like, the whole album has a chill vibe to it. So I will pick this up if you're a fan of Taxi, Bob James. Cause you know Bob James basically one of the greatest jazz musicians of all time, in my opinion. This album's kind of hard to come by. I actually had to get this off Amazon. So I believe this album is actually out of print though, but I don't really know for sure. Definitely pick this up. This is Outkast ATLiens, released in 1996. Classic album released on Left Face Records. Classic album, definitely one of the best albums of all time. Singles albums known for is ATLiens, Jazzy Belle, and Elevators, Me and You. I love that song, Elevators, though. The thing about this album that's kind of stands out is because it's different from like what you would hear from the South around this time. But when people think of the South back in the 90s around the time, it would have like a bass kind of music and stuff. So I believe Andre 3000 wanted to prove that the South can be connected to the roots. So that's why this album kind of had like a gospel feel to it, like kind of had that outer space kind of thing. Anyway, one of my favorite songs of this album, 13th Floor, Growing Old. That's that song right there, man. Check this album out. Classic album. Next album is Eric B. and Rakim's Paid in Full, released in 1987, 4th and Broadway Island. Classic album, groundbreaking album, legendary album, whatever you want to call it. This is hands down hip hop at its best. Singles this album is known for is Eric B. is President, I Ain't No Joke, I Know You Got Soul, Move the Crowd, and Paid in Full. See, the thing about this album, like, no one was rapping like Rakim back in 1987. I mean, Rakim, that's why I think that Rakim's like basically the greatest MC in hip hop though, because flow wise, complex lyricism, and he never really had the courage to prove how lyrical he really is, to be honest though. Anyway, this album right here is, when I think of this album, it has like James Brown samples going around this album. So, and like I believe that Eric B., Scott LaRock, and said you were like the first one to use James Brown, even though it's kind of debatable about Eric B., but that's a different story. This is actually a 2005 remastered edition. And what's cool about this one, it has like the Paid in Full Mini Madness Cold Cut remix, which is dope remix by the way. So I recommend picking this album up. You're not a hip hop head if you don't have this album. That's my opinion. I mean, you're probably not a hip hop head if you haven't listened to it. Let me take that back. LL Cool J's Mama Said Knock You Out, released in 1990 on Def Jam. Classic album, definitely a step up from his last album, Walking with the Panther, which that album kind of got criticized due to like him concentrating on love songs and ballads and going that commercial route. But the singles this album is known for To the Break of Dawn, which is like a diss record to Como D, Ice-T and Hammer, The Booming System, Around the Way Girl, which is like one of my favorite songs from LL, Mama Said Knock You Out, and 6 Minutes of Pressure. Mama Said Knock You Out actually won a Grammy back in 1991. The reason for the title Mama Said Knock You Out was because I believe LL's grandmother actually told him in order to succeed in the game you have to knock the critics out, so he can use that as a motivation for this album, and like he just came out hard with this album. My favorite songs on this album is what was I about to say? My favorite albums from LL Cool J is this album, 14 Shots to the Dome, and Radio. I believe this album is this classic LL at its finest, basically at its peak of his career. Last album I'm gonna do for this video is Prince, The Gold Experience, or the artist formerly known as Prince. Yeah, released in 1995 on Warner Brothers NPG. Classic album, personal classic album in my opinion. I mean, very underrated album. Like this album, I don't think a whole lot of people really know about this album because this album is actually out of print. It's been out of print for years though, and his most the single album was known for Most Beautiful Girl in the World, which was like a big single back in '90, around that time. Pussy Control, Dolphin, Endorphin Machine, I Hate You, I love that song, I Hate You, and Gold. The thing about this album, a little story about this album though. He was really supposed to get out of Warner Brothers around that time because he was having problems with his record label, and like they wanted him. They said in order to like get out of the contract, I believe he had to release the Black Album and I believe the Black Album and this album to get out of his contract because he was working on another album, Emancipation. Dope album, by the way. I mean, and so they told him that you have to release these albums and stuff. And like the thing like many fans love about this album is because it had like, it was kind of like the 1990s Purple Rain in a way, like due to like that whole pop rock kind of feel to it. And I mean, I can see what people say that though, but I believe this is in the class by itself though, because this album was really dope. I really like this album. Like I said before, this album is actually out of print. A whole lot of his stuff around this period like was out of print, and it's kind of a shame though because from '91 to 1996, Prince was on top of his game around that era. Like you can't go on albums like Love Symbol album, Diamonds and Pearls, Come. Shit, I mean, if you can find this album, get this album. You might have to do a whole lot of digging. And that's it for the CD collection. And stay tuned for more of the album reviews and CD collections and all that other stuff.